You're watching the Fox 5 Morning News at 7.
7:43 now. A new way of investing in Europe is raising concerns here in the U.S. Chase Wilsey is here to explain what it means for the market. Chase, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, first things first, what is a private company?
So private companies, I'm going to use probably the two most common ones here. You're looking at like a SpaceX and OpenAI. They're companies that don't trade on the New York Stock Exchange.
Okay.
So generally the individual public, the individual retailer investor, you can't go buy shares in those companies. Like if you want to go buy Apple, right? Very easy. You go to Charles Schwab, go to Fidelity, go buy those shares in that company. You necessarily can't do that with these private companies as they're privately held.
Okay, so Robinhood, who is Robinhood?
They're a new custodian.
I like how you say newer.
They've been around for a few years now, but they kind of came into the scene trying to take on like the Charles Schwabs and the Fidelities. So they are what we call a custodian, where people will go there and they'll invest money through Robinhood.
Okay, and then so that they will then go and buy these shares for you?
Essentially, yes. So I mean, like if you go through Charles Schwab, right?
Right.
They're more known. If I had, I'm just saying, an IRA account at Charles Schwab, I want to invest in Apple, I can do that through Charles Schwab. Same thing with Robinhood. Robinhood, very similar to the custodian outfits of Charles Schwab and Fidelity.
But what are they doing different?
What they're doing different is I'm going to say they're gamifying the markets a little bit more. And what I mean by that is they're kind of a little bit more involved in the crypto space. They're trying to hit that new, younger audience. And another thing they're doing now, too, is they're talking about these stock tokens, where maybe you can invest through these stock tokens in companies like OpenAI and SpaceX.
I don't like that word maybe and investing like in one sentence. That sounds problematic.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, this is a very interesting situation. I mean, a couple weeks ago, Vlad Tenev, who's the CEO of Robinhood, he went out and said, yeah, you know, we're going to do these stock tokens where people can now get access to OpenAI and SpaceX.
But how do you do that?
Well, this is the big question. This is the thing that really concerns me. OpenAI came out and said, we have nothing to do with this. We don't endorse it. We did not allow for the transfer of shares to Robinhood. So ultimately it was like, well, what the heck is happening? And then the CEO, Vlad Tenev, again came out and said, well, yeah, it is true that these are not equity stakes in the company, but in and of itself, it's not really relevant. To me, that is a huge red flag. If you're not getting an equity stake or an ownership stake in these companies, what the heck is it? I mean, This is a very, very dangerous thing in my mind, and I really do hope this is regulated a lot closer because this could be very dangerous for investors.
But people are really investing in that then?
Right now, not here in the U.S.
Okay.
This is only something that is being pushed through the EU, and that still has to clear regulatory hurdles there.
But why would you give money to somebody like Robinhood to invest in something that isn't really like a real share?
Because people sometimes, I say this lightly, but don't do their full research. They hear, oh, OpenAI, I want to invest in OpenAI. So then they go and do that without fully understanding the ramifications of what they just did.
Okay, so what in the long run will this mean for trading here in the U.S.? Long
run, I just think you got to look out for different tools, different products that are released from these financial institutions. I mean, one thing about pulling back regulations is it does open up these products that I think can be very dangerous for investors. So I think you have to dig through these with a fine-tooth comb and make sure you understand what you're investing in. Ultimately, if you're buying real estate, you're going to know what you own. If you're buying a stock, you're buying equity or ownership in that company. You have to know what you own. And a lot of times people just don't. And 5 years go by, you get hit, and you're like, what the heck happened? Well, you didn't understand the process. And this is just something that worries me. If it comes to fruition here in the United States, please be careful.
If you're worried, I'm worried. Chase, thank you. Always good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's get you over to Chrissy.
Fox 5 Weather, sponsored by your